Your top stories this evening sponsored by Courts, bringing value home. Jack Dio now says that the Carter Center is a political organization, calls it a PR stunt. Years later, and Aubrey Barker Road still in a deplorable state. And finance wraps government over micromanagement of NTC, says indigenous leaders and peoples will be treated respectfully under APNU. HGP Nightly News begins now. Good evening to our viewers here in Guyana and online. I'm Travis Chase with the Thursday, August 21 edition of the HGP Nightly News. Here's what you need to know this evening. Elections Observer Mission, the Carter Center, is now being accused of being political after releasing its initial report ahead of Guyana's elections. Here's more. Vice President Barra Jack Dio has dismissed aspects of the Carter Center's Election Observation Mission report as opposition concerns.
And reported on every allegation made by the opposition. And whilst they accurately reflected them as allegations by the opposition, they didn't cover all the allegations.
In releasing its pre-election statement, the Carter Center, which was invited to observe the electoral process by the ruling People's Progressive Party civic government, raised the issue about the misuse of state resources. The Carter Center said that it has received multiple allegations from political parties and civil society that the ruling party is misusing state resources. The PPPC's spokesman, Barra Jack Dio, had this to say on the issue at his weekly press briefing.
And they said, some people are still going using state vehicles. So you expect the president not to go with his vehicle? It's a bunch of nonsense. And then, the president or others are opening hospitals and schools. And we have no apology to make for that.
Mr. Jack Dio, who is also the country's sitting vice president, then invoked his distract and deflect strategy.
They missed the fact that, people were beaten up. The doggy matter has been in the public domain. The spokesperson for the Win campaign beats a woman brutally who went to collect payment for going to a meeting. How did they miss that?
After declaring that the observation missions are reputable international observer missions, Mr. Jack Dio is now deeming the Carter Center in particular to be a political organization.
They took it upon themselves. Carter Center is a political organization to tell banks how they must conduct their affairs when even OFAC refused to do that. OFAC made it very explicit.
Travis Chase, HGP Nightly News. The $1.45 billion Aubrey Barker Road expansion project continues to pose significant discomfort and frustration for residents of the South Ruimveldt community. We took our cameras on location and has a status update for you.
Copeland Council for Constituency 14 are the mayor and city council. Mr. Copeland, tell us today what is the main issue in this area?
Well, the road. The Aubrey Barker Road has been a sore issue since 2022.
The rehabilitation of the Aubrey Barker Road, tuned at a whopping $1.45 billion that runs through South Ruimveldt in Georgetown, commenced since 2022. And since then, residents are forced to experience major developments. According to the councillor for Constituency 14, Kibwe Copeland, the project was expected to be completed since 2023. He acknowledged that while himself and other residents do not oppose development, the protracted project is very inconveniencing for motorists and residents.
What we've seen over the period of time is mismanagement of this contract, mismanagement of this project. We've saw no collaboration when it comes to different agencies that are involved, stakeholders. It is more than just the ministry or the government coming and say, look, we're going to expand this road.
The ongoing project has faced mounting criticism following a recent incident where several utility poles collapsed, leaving the area without electricity and water for days, Copeland flagged.
Had so many issues whereby we have deterioration of roads while this contract is happening. Trucks are going in and out, going into the new Cummins Park scheme that they're building at the back of South and also the back of Sapphire. And the maintenance of that road while these trucks are going through, that was an issue.
The Department for Public Information on August 8, 2025 reported that the Minister of Public Works, Juan Egil, during a site inspection, had called for round-the-clock operations to accelerate works on the Aubrey Barker 4-lane road expansion. Egil, who also appeared frustrated at the pace at which the project is moving, said that if the project was not completed in a timely manner, more financial resources will have to be expended. Copeland argued that if the ministry had done a proper feasibility study for the project, it would have known what sections required enlargement.
They started it to the front. There was no consultation with the persons in the street that, look, we're starting this road here, you have to detour here. People had to get to the margin and figure things out. Secondly, the other person started at the end, so the middle was then left. So it inconvenienced people in the community.
Residents in the area in the late 2024 protested the state of the Aubrey Barker Road because of its deplorable condition, with the Guyana Fire Service forced to respond after debris was lit. Deputy Police Commander of Region 4, Michael Kingston, was forced to negotiate with the residents and pleaded with them to disperse after assuring them that the relevant authorities would intervene.
I'm Antonio Day reporting for HGP Nightly News from Aubrey Barker Road.
A Partnership for National Unity's prime ministerial candidate, Joretta Fernandes, has assured the nation's first peoples that after the September 1 polls, their leaders will operate independently, free from political interference amid allegations of micromanagement and bureaucracy at the level of the National ai.tvshows Council.
Citing instances of micromanagement and political control within the National ai.tvshows Council, Joretta Fernandes, the prime ministerial candidate for the Partnership for National Unity, is sending a clear message to the current administration. Their days of dictating the development of hinterland communities are short-lived. In her fiery address to residents of Tapatinga, Lethem, at a recent rally, Fernandes said that the government continues to violate the free will of indigenous peoples. She assured that under an APNU government, this norm will change.
Indigenous leaders will have the greatest say in indigenous matters. And we are going to remove all political interference.
Fernandes emphasized that her parents were also ai.tvshows and stated that she will not permit the nation's indigenous peoples to be used as scapegoats by the government, which has hindered significant development in hinterland communities.
I will not allow anybody to come into our communities, use our people for nothing. When it comes to indigenous ai.tvshows, the entire council, deputy ai.tvshow, I can tell you this, we are going to make sure that you get more money because we understand that the money you're getting is not enough.
The former member of parliament intrigued the residents with her sharp delivery when she announced that the current stipend for ai.tvshows would also significantly increase.
We will be moving that stipend up from $40,000 to $200,000. That's what we're going to start you off at.
The current 15% sale of carbon credits will also witness a 50% increment, as outlined in APNU's manifesto, Fernandes noted. She advised that this significant percentage will aid in the further development and advancement of hinterland communities, which were neglected under the ruling People's Progressive Party Civic.
We will be putting monies into the pockets, into the pockets of our people and into the hands of your leaders so that you can see real development.
Antonio Day reporting for the HGP Nightly News.
With members of the discipline services set to cast their votes on Friday, political parties contesting this year's elections have sent out messages highlighting their commitments to service members and their families. Find out more from Tiana Cole.
President Irfan Ali, on behalf of the People's Progressive Party Civic PPPC, reaffirmed his party's commitment to the discipline services, emphasizing that their safety, dignity, and the security of their families are central to building a stronger Guyana. He highlighted achievements over the past 5 years, including restoring the 1-month tax-free bonus, increasing salaries, accelerating promotions, improving working conditions, expanding scholarships and training, and enhancing access to healthcare and housing. Looking ahead, the president pledged even greater support, including higher wages, home ownership opportunities, childcare facilities, recreational spaces, and continued professional development. Meanwhile, in its letter to members of the Discipline Services, the Partnership for National Unity, APNU, said that under the APNU-AFC coalition government, members of the Discipline Services saw their salary increase by 77% over the 5-year period. The party is now promising salary increases of 35%, elimination of income tax for all service members earning less than $400,000 per month, an annual 1-month bonus, and a minimum cash transfer of $100,000. Alliance for Change leader Nigel Hughes noted that under the AFC government, no member of the Discipline Services will earn less than $250,000 a month, with fair promotions free from political influence.
And if you fall in the line of duty, your family will receive $10 million.
Leader of the Forward Guyana movement, Amansa Walton, this year stated that far too long service members have been overlooked, but her party will create and legislate a separate joint service remuneration scale.
This means family support, expedited house lot allocations. It means allowances for your children and low-interest mortgages. Your health and protection will be paramount.
Meanwhile, leader of the Assembly for Liberty and Prosperity, ALP, Simona Brooms, said it is time for members of the Discipline Services and their roles to be taken seriously, noting that they have long been taken for granted.
We at the ALP, we saying men and women in uniform deserve to flourish, all Guyanese equally.
The breakdown of ballots for the Discipline Services shows 6,909 eligible electors from the Ghana Police Force, 3,106 from the Ghana Defense Force, and 466 from the Ghana Prison Service. Tiana Co reporting for the HGP Night 3 News.
Thank you, Tiana, for your reporting. Stay with us. There is more news ahead. Thanks for staying with us here in the HGP Nightly News. When Guyanese head to the polls on September 1, they will notice a small but important change in the voting process. You'll have more details in this report.
The Guyana Elections Commission is imploring that when Guyanese head to the polls on September 1, they will be asked to do something new, properly clean their fingers before dipping them in electoral ink after casting their ballots. The measure, which is designed to safeguard the integrity of the vote, was announced by Chief Elections Officer Vishnu Prasad, who explained that some electors try to make the ink easier to remove by applying oil or cream to their hands. He explained that while the ink itself is tough to remove, some people have tried to outsmart the system that makes the stain easier to fade, something that could open the door to repeat voting.
The rule is that ink should be allowed to dry on your finger naturally.
For decades, Guyanese voters have been marked with ink as proof they have already cast their ballot. This stain, usually on the finger, has become a familiar symbol of democracy. Many even wear it with pride as they leave the polling station. This year, the Elections Commission is making sure that the tradition continues to mean what it should: one person, one vote. Prasad assured that the ink being used is of high quality and has been tested for durability. He said it is quote-unquote virtually impossible to remove unless someone deliberately applies something to the skin first.
In engagements with manufacturers and suppliers of this ink, they have given guarantees that it is not possible to remove that ink easily unless something was applied to the finger before it was done.
The Elections Commission is also reinforcing other protective measures. Each polling station will have a folio containing color photograph of every registered voters, shared not only with staff but also with party agents. That, Prasad explained, makes impersonation nearly impossible. Tiana Co reporting for the HGP Nightly News.
Meanwhile, the We Invest in Nationhood Party presidential candidate Azruddin Mohammed has urged members of the joint services to back his party as they cast ballots on Friday in the general and regional elections.
Presidential candidate Azharuddin Mohammed, in an early Thursday morning live through his social media page, pledged sweeping reforms, including a 40% cut in house lot prices for service members, grants of up to $700,000 for home construction, and priority processing of applications with utilities installed before approvals. He vowed to raise allowances, travel, uniform, rent, and special service while cutting PAYE from 25% to 20%. Families, according to the party, would receive 100,000 cash grants per child, free school transportation, and salary increases of up to 50% along with risk allowances.
We want to ease your burdens so that you could better serve this great nation. It is appalling that in 2025, your travel, uniform, rent, and special service allowances are so small and do not match the cost of living. This is no way to treat our serving men and women.
Other pledges include priority scholarships for families, full medical coverage for injured officers, and an increase in the death in service benefit from $1 million to $5 million. He also promised extended maternity leave, 4 months instead of 3, duty-free concessions on vehicles up to 2,000 cc for station sergeants and 2,500 cc for inspectors, higher overtime pay, and retention of the year-end bonus.
As you serve our country, putting your life on the line, we should ensure that your children and your spouses are considered. It is with that in mind that we will give each child 100,000 cash grants and provide free transportation to and from school, a scaled salary increase of up to 50%.
He urged service members to think carefully about their future as they head to the polls on August 22nd. This is Marvin Cato reporting for HGP Nightly News.
With pressure mounting on the Guyana Elections Commission, GECOM, to deliver a credible election, opposition-nominated Commissioner Vincent Alexander is warning that failure to meet essential benchmarks leaves room for a lawful delay of the polls. Find out more from Tiana Cole.
Opposition-appointed Commissioner on the Guyana Elections Commission, GECOM, Vincent Alexander, has warned that the Commission is not fully prepared to ensure free, fair, and transparent elections on September 1. He has argued that GECOM has failed to complete critical steps necessary for a proper state of readiness.
Then there's every reason, there's every justification legally for the postponement of the election. But legally, there's precedent and good reason for a delay.
Meanwhile, Alexander also weighed in on GECOM's recent move to ban the use of cell phones inside polling stations. The Commission announced that in matter of policy, voters will be required to turn off their cellular phones before entering the polling stations, which will then be in safekeeping of the presiding officers while they cast their ballot. Voting compartments will also be arranged to allow staff and accredited party agents to observe whether a voter is attempting to photograph their ballot, while still safeguarding voter privacy.
And if GECOM simply notified the public, no phones in the poll booth, all that requires is a public announcement.
On the other hand, the Alliance for Change executive member Catherine Hughes welcomed the new rules, calling them a critical safeguard.
The banning of cell phones in the polling stations and also in the voter booth is a critical step in ensuring that we can have a free and fair election.
On Tuesday, GECOM formally announced its decision to ban cell phones in polling stations on Election Day. The elections body explained that the measures is intended to protect the sanctity and secrecy of the ballot and to prevent vote selling linked to the photographing of ballots. Tiana Cole reporting for the HGP Nightly News.
There is more news ahead. Stay with us. You're watching the HGP Nightly News. Thanks for staying with us. Forward Guyana movement, in its purple contract on agriculture, highlighted how it intends to feed the nation and reduce poverty. Marvin Cato will tell you more.
Forward Guyana movement, FGM, purple contract on agriculture, is geared towards revitalizing agriculture and ensuring food security. Among its focus is to revive and strengthen agricultural cooperatives, extension services, targeted government subsidies, improve storage facilities, and provide crop failure insurance, which will ensure stability and a commitment to break the cycle of poverty, unlock opportunities, and build a nation where no one is left behind. The contract with the people sees job creation through diversification in agriculture as being very critical to the nation's growth and commits to investing strategically in agriculture and agriculture technology. Presidential candidate for the Forward Guyana movement, Amanzo Walton Desir, on Thursday, while speaking to her party's plans, also noted a key component of the contract with the people.
We would absolutely reestablish an agricultural bank. The current financing framework, the current banking infrastructure does not support agriculture in the manner that an agriculture-specific bank could.
Looking at ways in which agricultural products are being manufactured to generate new jobs in dynamic industries and reducing the dependence on the oil sector, another aspect of the contract is with the Public-Private Partnership for Guyanese, who seeks to work side by side with local groups and entrepreneurs, including members of the diaspora, in the development of business and industrial initiatives and projects, including agriculture and responsible manufacturing.
The other thing that we would do is make sure that farmers themselves have ownership of shares, for example.
Walton Desir said critically, our party will address the cost of living, particularly addressing why food, housing, and transportation costs have risen sharply, outpacing wage growth and pushing more families towards poverty. This is Marvin Cato reporting for HGP Nightly News.
Meanwhile, the Forward Guyana movement's presidential candidate on the radio program Politics, Elections and You on Thursday frontally faced the issue of gold smuggling. Here again is Marvin Cato.
The issue of gold smuggling, according to many pundits, has been the cause for reduced revenue to the Guyana Revenue Authority, and the Forward Guyana movement's presidential candidate Amanzo Walton Desir, in her reasoning on this issue, said this plague must be addressed.
The price of gold tripled, and gold declarations suddenly began dropping. That makes no sense. It says that there is clearly a problem there. One of the things that we have championed and we've said in our contract with Guyana is that we'll be tough on corruption and we will set up an anti-corruption agency.
Walton Desir continued laying out her strategic approach by highlighting what is needed to tackle this scourge.
Rationalizing that with the reconstitution of SARA, because one of the issues with corruption is that it robs the Guyanese people of their patrimony.
She did not hold back and was adamant that every effort must be made to recoup every cent that was taken from those who benefit as a result of corruption.
So there has to be, as there was with SARA, an agency that is responsible for going after persons who would have benefited from the proceeds of corruption and bringing those monies back into our national coffers. You see so very clearly the mismanagement of this current government. If you look at gold declaration
under the APNU-AFC government was very high as compared to now, even though the price for gold now is significantly higher. This is Marvin Cato reporting for HGP Nightly News.
You will hear now that the high-profile case involving businessman Nasruddin Mohammed and his luxury Lamborghini vehicle has been adjourned.
The case brought by the Guyana Revenue Authority, GRA, against presidential candidate for the We Invest in Nationhood Party, Nasruddin Mohammed, over alleged tax evasion was postponed until September 10, 2025. Sanjeev Dattadin, lawyer for the GRA, appeared before Magistrate Daly on Wednesday. He told the court that Mohammed's lawyer, Sayan Darjan, had related that a letter had been sent to the court in advance, explaining his client's absence and asking for an adjournment. Mohammed is facing charges of falsely declaring the cost of his Lamborghini Roadster SVJ at $75,300. The GRA is claiming that the vehicle is actually valued at $695,000 and not the $75,300 declared by the businessman. When he made his first appearance in court last May, he was released on $500,000 bail following a successful bail application made by his attorneys Darren Wade and Damian De Silva. Meanwhile, on Wednesday evening, while en route to Berbice for his rally, Mohammed was stopped by police officers around 1800 hours due to a series of traffic-related offenses. He is scheduled to appear at the Berbice Magistrates Court on Friday, August 22, 2025, to answer the charges. Among the charges were heavily tinted windows without permits, obscure identification marks, and breach of road service license conditions. Additionally, its driver, Eugene Thorne, has also been cited for obscure ID marks, operating an uncertified motor vehicle, and driving an unlicensed motor vehicle. Mohammed spoke of him being targeted and victimized. The Wind Party claimed victimization to the road stop, and also as a consequence, the certificate of the fitness for motorcar PZZ 5000 was revoked.
The level of victimization we are receiving is just bringing more people to us. Right. Their own supporters, they had a meeting in Blackbush. As you saw, their own supporters stopped and greeted us. Right. This is to show that even their supporters are with us.
Jada June reporting for HGP Nightly News.
Stay tuned for your regional news.
Good evening and welcome to Thursday's edition of the Regional News. Barbados has welcomed the arrival of a new aircraft by the Turks and Caicos-based Inter-Caribbean Airway, with a call for the island to deepen its transportation ties with Latin America in order to improve trade, tourism, and regional influence. Quote unquote, I want to say to you that we look forward to also discussing how we can open up Latin America and in particular, northeastern Brazil, Prime Minister May Motley said at the unveiling of the new aircraft. Motley said that Barbados, wants a hub for the wrong reason, must now reposition itself as a genuine gateway for the wider Caribbean, with stronger links across the north of the region. Meanwhile, the airline's founder, Lyndon Gardiner, said adding another aircraft symbolizes a deep and meaningful partnership that has flourished between Inter-Caribbean Airways and this beautiful nation of Barbados over years of shared vision and mutual support. The Secretary General of the Organization of American States, OAS, Albert Ramdin, on Wednesday said the Caribbean Community CARICOM grouping will have, quote-unquote, a critical role to play in the ongoing efforts to restore stability and security in Haiti. Ramdin, addressing the OAS Permanent Council on Towards a Haiti-led Roadmap for Stability and Peace with regional and international support, said that there is need for more effective coordination in a transparent manner, providing all the information available to all member states, allowing them to pinpoint what and where they can do more. The roadmap is a hemispheric proposal to support Haiti that seeks to link immediate stabilization with long-term structural reforms. It is conceived as a flexible and dynamic framework, informed by Haitian leadership and by close coordination with regional and international partners. Ramdin said that a 15-member CARICOM grouping, which also includes Haiti, will play a critical role, quote-unquote, and they have done already a lot of good work in terms of political facilitation with Haitian stakeholders. And now for some international news. Nearly 80 Afghan nationals, including more than a dozen children, died in a fiery bus crash on its way out of Iran to Afghanistan in Iran's ongoing push to rid millions of foreigners. The bus crashed late Tuesday night during a long ride on treacherous Afghani terrain after colliding with another vehicle and a motorbike near the Iranian border in the western Afghan province of Herat. According to officials, 78 people died, that included 17 children. The car was carrying fuel and it caught fire after a head-on collision with the bus fully loaded with passengers. Quote unquote, the Afghan refugees were returning home after spending a long time in Iran, but they could not reach their destination as their bus met with a tragic accident. Thank you for watching. I am Tiana Cole.
Jack Dio now says Carter Center is a political organization, calls it a PR stunt. Years later, and Aubrey Barker Road still in a deplorable state. And Finance wraps government over micromanagement of NTC, says Indigenous leaders and the people will be treated respectfully under APNU. Those are our major headlines. For these stories and more, please go to our website. It's www.hgptv.com. I'm Travis Chase. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.